Ha! There we go. You see, I'm over here talking, and can't nobody hear me. We can't be having that. But welcome to Intentional Grounding. This is the inaugural show here on the Buffalo Rumblings Network. It's the first one, man. So welcome to all of you who are in the chat. What's up, JR? What's good, man? Richard, that's my guy. I hope your wife is doing well. Jessica, how you doing? And to many others who will be listening to the show on here on the network, or you can listen to the show via podcast. So it'll be on all social media platforms at starting tomorrow. So welcome to the show. So let me kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing here. So you guys know that I'm going solo dolo. My guys over at the Hoof are still doing their thing, but I kind of wanted an opportunity to kind of just branch out and do my own thing. And so I'm not really sure in terms of I'm gonna be doing all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna have player interviews. I have a few of those lined up. I have many other things kind of you guys. Okay, you can hear me. All right, good. But I have many other things lined up. And so this is just we're gonna take a deep dive into what I think, from a game perspective or takes on different topics and issues related to the Buffalo Bills and the NFL in general, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing. That's just kind of give you a little heads up. But what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to talk about this Buffalo Bills draft class. The NFL draft is over. And so now, after all the hoopla and the excitement and staying up all night trying to figure out what's going on, right? All that's done. And this is the dog days of the NFL offseason. The Bills you shouldn't expect to see the Bills aren't going to do too much after this, right? NFL teams kind of sit back and kind of, you're going to see the mini camps and so forth. The schedule is going to come out in a couple weeks, I believe, or maybe in the next week, if I'm not mistaken. But that should be announced by the league here really soon. So, it's just content. We're just going to be talking about, what I think of this new draft class, who's going to be a starter or instant impact player, so forth. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing tonight. And we're going to talk about the winners and losers of the draft. All right. Here we go. So I don't know if you guys are ready for this, but I'm going to tell you who I think the winners and losers are of the draft. So we'll start with the Ravens first. Okay. The Ravens, don't they always win the draft? It seems like, this team constantly rings the bell in terms of their front office and, what they're able to do. We could talk about, so many players that the Ravens did select. They got Kyle Hamilton in the teens, right? Now there was rumors pre-draft that he was going to kind of slide and so forth. So we expected that, but man, they just did a really good job. And it's cool because we saw the Bengals kind of take over the AFC North. And I don't think that if you're a Bengals fan, I don't think you could be excited about what you saw the Ravens do draft night. So, it's going to be cool to see how Lamar Jackson coming back. They got Tyler Lindenbaum in the end of the first round. Okay. Now, people knock him for his size. He doesn't check out in terms of measurables, but when you turn on the tape, he's hard to pass. This dude, he's going to play something for them for a very long time, but they just clean house, man. The Ravens just freaking clean house. And you know what? I definitely want to talk about the Chiefs. All right. The Chiefs is another team that they did a really, really good job, man. They got George Karlaftis. That's one of the notable players they got. They also got Justin Ross as an undrafted free agent. Reason why he went undrafted, which I didn't expect him to go undrafted, was because of the medical concerns. Okay, so he had a lot of medical red flags that team doctors are probably looking at him like, it's just too much of a risk, and all it takes is one team to take a chance on you. So he's going to walk in as an undrafted free agent and be able to prove himself. This is a guy that without the injury concerns, he was going to be a first-round pick. And the transition from, Ugalele, the quarterback there from, Trevor Lawrence, that's a big jump. That's a big-time jump. And so, anytime you change quarterbacks like that, man, there's rhythm and timing. And if especially if you're not healthy or, you're injured, man, that's going to be issues there. So I've always been a big fan of Justin Ross. So I'm kind of happy for the Chiefs that they were able to really hone in and get some talent there. They got Trent McDuffie as well. So they clean house. The Lions is another team. Okay. And I'm running through these pretty fast because we're going to talk about what the Bills have done. And I'm going to show you guys, some of the notes that I had on these guys prior to the draft from my studies over the year. So the Lions, they clean house too. Anytime that you can get Aiden Hutchinson at number 2 overall, he was, prior to the draft, we all thought that he was going to go number 1 overall. Then you turn around, you trade from 31 or 32, you trade back into the half of the first round, and you get Jameson Williams, who's arguably the best wide receiver in the class. I mean, that's going to set you up for quite some time. So, you already have they got some really solid pieces last year on the defensive line. Now you have a bona fide pass rusher with Trey Flowers over there and some stud pieces at defensive tackle. Their defense is going to be good. It's going to be really good. And they have a first-round corner that they took 2 years before that. So they're really shaping up this Detroit Lions defense. It'll be cool because we all have to watch them on Thanksgiving. So at least you have a few names that you're going to be familiar with. So that's going to be good. Now, they didn't answer anything about quarterback, which I felt like that's still a need. But I'm definitely, as a Lions fan, which they really don't have much to be excited about, like ever. I mean, you got to be excited about that if you're a Lions fan. Patriots, they're losers. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Bills fan, a homer, whatever you want to call it. I don't understand the direction that Bill Belichick was taking in this draft. Now, is Cole Strange a good player? Yeah. But I think, he's a mid-second rounder to third-round pick, right? And you go and you take him at pick 29, and it's just like, I don't understand it. And then your second-round pick, Tyquan Thornton, who I had a 6th-round grade on him. I mean, he's fast, but what does he offer you in terms of route running ability? I think he's a limited route runner. Can he learn it? Maybe. Right? But I think they're failing Mac Jones. I think they need to get him some more weapons. But I'm going to say the Patriots are losers. And then they take Bailey Zappi in the 4th or 5th rounds. Like, man, like, I just don't get it. I just don't understand, the Belichick philosophy. And one of the things that kind of irritates me is that people are going to say, well, it's Belichick. He gets the benefit of the doubt. And I'm like, no, the hell he doesn't. The man just doesn't draft well. Okay, I'll give him J.C. Jackson recently. Outside of that, I mean, come on, man. I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it. Oh, we got my guy Joe. Joe is in the house. Yes. After my show in 50 minutes, stay tuned because Joe Miller and John Fina are gonna go. They're up next. So I'm like I'm the appetizer to the main course here. So Joe, thanks for watching, man. Daniel, what's good? What's good? How you doing? And let's keep it moving here. The Bears. You have Justin Fields, and you did nothing for him. I mean, I understand building your defense. That's important. But who is Justin Fields going to throw to? That's a problem. That is a major problem. So anytime you have a young quarterback, and he's already on his second regime, second-year quarterback, new regime, that's bad news. And you don't have weapons for him. I mean, Darnell Mooney is an okay player, but I mean, you're going to have to do a better job. You're going to have to do a better job. And then the Dolphins thinking that they're the Rams. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. I mean, I still think you got holes on the roster. I do like the Dolphins roster. And I know they traded a lot of picks away for Tyreek Hill. But I felt like, the value in which they got their guys, taking a linebacker from Georgia, Leo Chenal, is like, I don't know, man. I feel like they could have done a better job there. But so that's two AFC East teams that I feel like, didn't represent their teams well in the draft. I felt like there were other needs. We'll get more into those during the offseason. But that's just a quick overview I want to give you guys so we can, meet our time constraints tonight. Yes, the Bears are a perpetual cycle of suck. Y'all remember when the Bills were that way? Y'all remember that? where people talk about the Bills, and how if players go to the Bills, their career is gonna die. And I'm like, that just drinking the cup of suck, bro. It ain't it, man. So thank God we don't have to endure those losing seasons and firing a coach every 2 years. Hey, I'm telling you, man. That's right, Joe. That's right. Here we go. The tasty treat. We all know that. Come on now. We all know that. All right. So let's get into my favorite part and the reason why you guys are here, because we're going to talk about this Bills draft class. So, first man on the docket is Kaiir Elam. Now, so what I did with this is that I, made these graphics or whatever, but I kind of just took some cliff notes from the notes that I did from when I scouted these players. And so here we have with pick number 23, Kaiir Elam. He's a physical, long and rangy corner with top end speed, shows ability to mirror routes and coverage, and he has good ball skills. Okay. So that's Kaiir Elam. And, one of the cool things, I know everybody saw it, but when he was drafted, or in his interview prior to the draft, he was talking to Brandon Beane and the staff and so forth through his interview, and he had a notebook that he made notes on plays and players and his technique, what he likes and what he doesn't like, and what he can improve on. And we know that this regime values football character, right? And that means you have guys that are going to come in, they're going to do what they're supposed to do. You don't have to worry about them. And when the Bills especially take a guy in the first round, Josh Allen, Tremaine Edmonds, Tre'Davious White, guys like that, those are tone setters. And it's important that you get guys with that football DNA. I mean, Matt Elam, as his uncle, was a safety for the Ravens. His dad played ball as well in the NFL for a few years. I mean, this dude, he's been trained his whole life to be an NFL caliber player, and his dream was realized on Thursday night. How I think he's going to fit with this Bills squad, I think he's a guy that, because the Bills play so much zone, he can play man, and he's going to play some press man. I think he's best in press man, where he can get in the wide receiver's face and kind of take him out of a play, right? With that physicality. And I think that's one thing that this defense, in terms of cornerback play, I like that they got a big, tall, physical corner. Okay. He's not going to wow you with his lateral movement. I mean, but he's more of a long strider, right? So, I think twitchier wide receivers can get him deep. They can stack their route and kind of get him deep. But I mean, I think anything, short area, intermediate, I mean, he's all over that. I would really like to see how well he fares in, third and short, third and medium, right? I think you got to be excited about Kaiir Elam. The Bills had a big time need. They had a big time need, right? And a lot of us didn't think they place a lot of value on cornerback too, because we see them they go for undrafted free agents or late round guys to come in and fill that cornerback 2 role. And partly the reason because of that is that Sean McDermott is so good at cultivating this defensive talent in the backfield. Okay. So, but they went out and they got them a first round corner. So we could put the CB2 thing to rest for good. Kaiir Elam's going to be here for a while. I think his impact, he's going to be better than Levi Wallace for sure. I just think I think he can have a big impact. Him and Dane Jackson until Trey White gets back, I think they're going to be okay. I like the fact that we added some athleticism to the backfield right there. I just think that's huge. I mean, we saw what it did to us in Kansas City last year without Trey White. So just think the next time we play them, which is in the regular season, we don't know the dates yet. I expect it to be a totally different ball game. Okay, this is a long play move. I mean, think about what's in the AFC in terms of these quarterbacks, in terms of these weapons that these offenses that they have now. I mean, you got Denver. The whole AFC West is stacked, right? So those teams are going to beat up on each other, and the Bills can totally get home field advantage if they play well, right? So that's going to bode well for us in the playoffs. So we put his McDermott's first round talent. They start. He's going to start. There's no reason why he wouldn't start. So I expect him to start. So let's get all the kinks out now. Let's get it all out, because by playoff time, if this team wants to win a Super Bowl, they're going to need a big time contribution from him, not just Trey White and these other vets in the secondary, but they're going to need it from Kaiir Elam. So he's got, when he was drafted, he said, "Hey, put the playbook on the plane." So you love to hear that. You love to hear your rookie cornerback say, "I want the playbook. I want to start working now." So I think that caught Brandon Beane and Terry Pegula off guard. They were, it's just crazy, man. That's something that you want to see. So that's Kaiir Elam. Now, my favorite pick of the Bills of the draft, this man right here, James freaking Cook. James Cook, man. We've been talking about how the Bills needed help in the backfield. And this is what I wrote about James Cook prior to the draft. He's an elite pass catcher, shows the ability to run routes outside or from the backfield, has good speed to stretch defenses horizontally, and the burst when getting to the second level. Okay. Yeah. James Cook is one of those guys that, we talk about Devin Singletary, and Devin Singletary in his own right, he's a very shifty player. James Cook is that and more. He's probably won't be as good as, Devin Singletary between the tackles, but I think he's a guy that when he's lined up back there, defensive coordinators they got a game plan for him. I mean, he runs legit routes like a wide receiver. Hey, James Cook is a beast. He was my running back 3 of the draft class here. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about, man. Some of his abilities are just out of this world, man. So here's some highlights. This is not the film that I watch. I watch actual game film, but these are just highlights. You can see, you can see the burst here. Look at that. Get off of him. He's a special running back, man. This is the brother of Dalvin Cook. Look at him in the backfield. Look at that. He catches it just like a wide receiver. We talk about this Bills team, having enough weapons for Josh Allen. This is a guy that's going to, he could sit back there and let, if Josh doesn't see what he wants, you could dump it off to James Cook. He's going to make plays. He's going to make plays. So you could think of him a running back for sure, but kind of like a wide receiver too, just because of his route running prowess. As you can see, this is a guy that averaged 6.1 yards per carry at Georgia. Y'all, come on now. Look, people say, well, he can't run. He has a better break tackle percentage than Breece Hall. Think about it. Look at that speed around the corner, man. Come on, man. Y'all, if y'all ain't woke up about James Cook, I don't know what to tell you. Look at that. And this is the SEC. This is not the Pac-12, the Big 12. These are against some dudes. This is the best competition in college football, and you have 6.1 yards per carry. This past season, he had 728 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns rushing, 284 yards receiving with another 4 touchdowns. He had over 1,000 yards from scrimmage. So I think, people say, well, why didn't he have more production? He was playing with guys like Zamir White, it was running back by committee. So he has limited touches. So he's fresh. My guy is fresh. All right. So I think he's going to pay dividends to this Bills backfield. He's going to pay major dividends here. I love the pick. I love the pick. I love the ability. He's a beast. Oh, you're still seeing the photo. Oh, here you go. There you go. My bad. So here it is. Look at that. On my screen, you can actually see the game footage. But here he is. That's him just running, between the tackles, what we're talking about. He's a really good running back, man. Look at that. Look at the burst. I think it's dope. James Cook is going to be a dude. Now, me and Spence were talking, and Bruce Nolan were talking, the other day, and I mentioned that he's not Alvin Kamara, but his play style tends to mirror Alvin Kamara. Now, he doesn't, obviously he doesn't have the contact balance that Alvin Kamara has, but he has, the pass catching ability, the route running ability, the way he, stacks defenders. coming out of the backfield. He could press the line of scrimmage. I mean, this is a dude. Like, you should be excited. Y'all should be excited about a guy like James Cook. I think he's gonna be dope. I think he's gonna be really good. What's the expectation for James Cook in year one? I think you can. I think he's RB2. I still think Devin Singletary's RB1, but you have to look at it like this: you have a cupboard of multiple skill sets. So Devin Singletary can be RB1, and he's going to improve in pass protection. And he's Devin Singletary toward the end of the year was really good. With the improved offensive line, just think about Aaron Kromer, what he's going to bring to the table. So the offensive line, and then the additions of Roger Saffold, re-signing Rick Bates, Spencer Brown in the second year. I think it's going to pay dividends for this offensive line. So that's going to make the running game even better, right? Brandon Beane talked about how his biggest concern this offseason was to protect Josh Allen, right? And we thought, okay, he's talking about, offensive linemen, but not necessarily. Okay, now when you see those two high safety looks, you got a guy that can, press the defense. He's going to eat up, cover two defenses, whether that's in these light boxes or out of the backfield. So I think it's a fantastic move. That's my favorite pick. I'm a running back guy through and through. So I love James Cook. So moving on here, we got now this dude right here, Terrell Bernard. All right. I'm not a fan. I ain't gonna lie. I felt like, and it's okay. It's okay to not like some of these picks. All right. And this is one I did not like. I don't understand. Why would you take him in the third round? For me personally, I had him and he's a fifth round talent. Okay. So, this is what I had. He said he has good speed with sideline to sideline range and athleticism, has average coverage ability and instincts. A D will need to be better in zone coverage to make a difference at the next level. Now some of his statistics, he's got 320 tackles, 22 and a half tackles for loss. Now, so this is a guy that can also be in that rush linebacker role. Okay. He's not a guy that's gonna, stack offensive linemen and move him out of the way, but if you put him in rush situations, kind of like an AJ Klein, he can get the job done that way. He's undersized. He's got a small build. So, he's more, to me, he's a see ball, get ball kind of guy. I think he has some good instincts, but I think they need to be better. And I like for them to be better in zone coverage. So think of the Carolina Panthers when they had Shaq Thompson. Now I'm not saying he's Shaq Thompson, but this is the Bills version of Shaq Thompson. So when you have, I think he offers you a little bit more in that match linebacker kind of role that we saw, Saran Neal kind of play from time to time. So Terrell Bernard has 4.59 speed. I think he'll be able to hang with tight ends, right? And if the Bills want to go more of a traditional 4-3 look instead of nickel, I think he could do that. I don't think that he's a guy that's going to supplant Tremaine Edmunds if they can't get a deal done. I don't think that's. I just don't think that's his calling card, right? So the Bills still may be in the market for a linebacker if they can't get a deal done after next season. Maybe the draft or a free agent pickup there we could see. But I hope Tremaine Edmunds stays with the team. The reality of it is we just can't sign everybody. All right. That's going to be my guy Bruce says, I knew you'd be for the running back pick. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm a sucker for running backs. I have a Devin Singletary jersey. I had a CJ Spiller jersey. I still have a Willis McGahee jersey. I love running backs. I just think I'm old school that way. I grew up watching Thurman and Barry Sanders. I just love my running backs. But so I will be getting a James Cook jersey. But back to Terrell Bernard. I think he kind of has an issue missing tackles. All right. His missed tackle percentages had an uptick last year. We're talking about you're in the Big 12, right? So I think he's going to have to get better there. But I like what he's able to do in terms of defending the pass. Like I said, I think he needs to improve his zone coverage. Sometimes it's like he doesn't understand his assignment and where he needs to be. Now, I would like to see him anticipate more, but in terms of how he's going to fit, like I said, this is their version of Shaq Thompson. So, you're going to see them go 3 linebacker sets I think a lot more, considering their schedule says that they're going to have a lot more teams that run the ball effectively. So, we saw the Bills get better up front, right? I think him and Tyrell Dodson, I mean, let's see. I like Tyrell Dodson a little bit more right now. That's just me. But let's see if he could beat him out. But I think you should see his contribution on special teams. And I think he could play that AJ Klein role. Let's go. Now, here's another one. All right. Here's another one. Khalil Shakir. All right. Brandon Beane came out and said if they had a 4th round pick, they would have picked this guy in the 4th round. Obviously, they didn't. But they got him in the 5th round. So anytime you have a guy on your board that you see him in the previous round and he's still there, considering the run on wide receivers and so forth in this draft, the fact that they were able to pick up Khalil Shakir in the 5th round, I thought that's superb value. This is a guy that I expected to go. I don't know if I told you guys. I said, Jalen Tolbert and Khalil Shakir are they just seem like they're Buffalo Bill kind of players, right? And here we go. Khalil Shakir is now a Buffalo Bill. One of the things that, this is what I said about Khalil Shakir. He says, projects as a slot receiver at the next level, shows good speed, great route runner, and consistently finds soft spots in zone coverage. Concentration drops seem to be an issue, but can make wild plays and a playmaker with the ball in his hands. I think Khalil Shakir, I think he's a solid player. And here's the thing. So when we had Brian Daboll as the OC, we talked about how, the mantra in the wide receiver room and the way the offense of the way it was designed is that they want guys who are great route runners and can separate. Khalil Shakir gives you that. He gives you the ability. All right. He run routes. He gets separation at the top of stems, in and out of breaks. He's I don't think he's a fantastic, like in a long game, it's sprinting, but I think he has some functional athleticism in terms of change of direction, right? He's a guy that can get in and out of breaks really quick. So, he has some short area quickness that I think is going to bode well. And one of the underrated things that he's going to bring to the table. So one, the man can return punts. All right. He's a punt returner as well. So you don't have to have Lil Dirty, Isaiah McKenzie back there returning punts anymore. He and Isaiah Stevenson, they can kind of battle that out. Okay. I think he offers you more in terms of ball security that I think the Bills covet. Well, most teams covet, right? You need to protect the ball. But here's something that's interesting. So over his career at Boise State, he has 71 rushes for 414 yards. 71 rushes. What did I tell you? I'm not saying the man's Deebo Samuel. I don't think there's anybody that can kind of do what he does. But you know how we saw Isaiah McKenzie take, handoffs out of the backfield, wheel routes, all that kind of stuff, right? How they kind of window dress at the line of scrimmage. This is a guy that can do all that. He can do all that. So you say, well, how does he project this season? I think because of, Jamison Crowder and the fact that when was the last time he played a full season, right? So let's say I expect Jamison Crowder to be out 3-4 games. This just the way his career has gone. He's going to get injured at some point. And I think it's good that you have a guy like Khalil Shakir that can come in and step into the slot. Now, Shakir can also play on the boundary as well. I just think he's better served in the slot. I like his release package getting off the line of scrimmage. So I think like I said, he's a guy that he could be zone coverage. Now, if you took a Cole Beasley and you took another receiver on the team, Gabriel Davis, and they had a baby, all right, that's what Khalil Shakir is. Now, he's not as nasty of a route runner as Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley, in my opinion, was an elite route runner, but they have some of the same similar attributes. that's going to be exciting to see. So if I had to put a stat prediction on him, I'd say give him 30 receptions for, 200-300 yards and a few touchdowns. As a rookie, I think that's solid contribution from a rookie in that role, considering you got a logjam at wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, right? Gabriel Davis, Jamison Crowder, Dawson Knox at tight end, James Cook out of the backfield. He's going to be getting his share of targets. So I think, I wouldn't expect, unless he comes into camp and he's just nasty with it. Okay. Eric Farrell says, I'm hoping that Shakir could be a Robert Woods. Man, that's a tall task, man, because Robert Woods, from a solid route runner, and he does a lot of that stuff behind the line of scrimmage. Always been able to do that. One of the things that people don't really talk about in terms of Robert Woods is how good of a run blocker he is. He is an elite run blocker from the wide receiver position. Gabriel Davis is up there as well. Gabriel Davis is a damn good run blocker. But so it's going to be cool to see him get in a room with Diggs and these guys to show him kind of the nuances of the position. And in the league, I think that's going to bode well for a guy like Khalil Shakir. His dad was in the military, so he's extremely disciplined. We talk about that football character, that DNA. He's a guy that has it. Brandon Beane likes the guys with the chip on his shoulder. This is a kid that was a 4-star recruit, decided to go to Boise State, right? Went to Boise State. He had guys, when you're an athlete, man, you find ways to get a chip on your shoulder to motivate you, to tell yourself that you can be better. He's one of those guys. So great pick in the 5th round. I think it's going to serve him well. And I'm excited to see how that projects in the future. Now, I will say this, that we still need a guy that can stretch the field deep, vertical, and we do not have that man on the roster. Now, Stephon Diggs can do it. He can do it, but he's a route runner, short, intermediate. I mean, he's gonna dice you up that way. We need a guy that can cut him off deep. We need a guy that when he's out there, you're like, damn, like, okay, here we go. Like, he's here, y'all. Mama, there goes that man. All right, and we don't have that guy. We do not have that guy. So I feel like the wide receiver room is still incomplete. Okay, Stevenson, I'm just not sold on him yet. Maybe let's see what he does in camp. And he's a speed guy, right? That has the ability to. But I would have much rather Calvin Austin here. They could have had him. And they could have worked that out some way. But I felt like Calvin Austin would have been the perfect complement to the array of receivers we already have on the team. I think Dalvin Cook is a guy, he can catch the ball deep. And like I said, the dude has, wicked route running ability, like a wide receiver for a running back. So he's a guy that you can, he if you match him up on a linebacker, see you later. I learned that the hard way being a Michigan fan. All right. So, but yeah, no, Shakir definitely needs to be coached up. He definitely needs to be coached up. And what better opportunity to go to the Buffalo Bills to be coached up and learn the nuances of the position? Come on, man. 5th round, that's a bargain. I think that's a bargain. Like I said, I had a 3rd round grade on the guy. And then we're going to get to Bills Mafia's freaking favorite. God dang. Yo, who are we talking about? This man right here. Y'all quit playing with me right now. Okay, so hold on. Before I even get into this, you know how, like, as fans or guys that cover the draft, we all have our, like, draft crushes every year, right? This dude is Bills Mafia's crush. Everybody wanted the damn punt god. Now, you say, well, why does everybody want the punt god? Because, damn it, we don't even punt that much. I mean, there's games where freaking I don't even want to say his name, Matt Hawk. He don't even see the field unless he's holding for Tyler Bass, right? There's games where the Bills don't punt. But boy, when they punt, golly, my man struggles. I mean, there's a few games where the boy almost lost the game for us because he, I don't know what's wrong with his leg. Brandon Beane defended him, was like, well, he's a better. He said, well, when talking about Matt Araiza, he was like, well, Matt Hawk's a better punter than what he put on last year. No, that's been what he's been his entire NFL career. A bad punter. He's bad. Okay, yeah, bad. So what Bill's going to do? They got this man right here. This is what I wrote about him. Called the punt god for a reason, as he shows elite leg power, ball placement, and accuracy. Ariza can also kick field goals with ease, but will be a punter, sorry for the typo there, only at the next level. He's the best punting prospect in the last 10 years. He is the best punting prospect to come out in the last 10 years. This man is a freaking unit for a punter. All right. So a couple of things. He averages 51.1 yards per punt. Did y'all hear me? 51.1 yards per punt. Filthy, man. Filthy. He had 2 punts over 80 yards this past season. And that's why he was dubbed the punt god. 80-yard punts. Now, I don't want Sean McDermott to get all excited and start punting all the damn time. I still want them to have, he still needs to have his edge. I want you to go for it on fourth down. But don't take the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. But if you're going to punt, all right, Matt Hawk's out of here. All right, so other Matt Araiza, you're going to have to learn the hold, buddy. You're going to have to learn the hold for Tyler Bass. You're going to have to. And you can't be running down trying to lay people out. We don't need you. We don't need our punter to do that. I just need you to kick the damn ball, kick it well. You're gonna be playing in Buffalo. You're gonna have to kick in the wind. I'm gonna need to see you come through, man. So, but we got the punt god. So just think about this. Think about this. You quite arguably, no, you do. You have the strongest armed quarterback in the league, the strongest leg punter in the league. Show me somebody's a punter whose leg is stronger than Matt Araiza's. I don't think you're gonna find it. If he's not the best, put him in the top 3. Put him in the top 3. Bruce said on Twitter, we got the swaggiest special teams room in terms of kickers in the league. Bass, Araiza, the punt god. Damn, it feels good. It feels good, man. It feels good. Golly. Richard Rush says, I wanted Stout, but I'm a bad evaluator for the draft. I mean, how many people really evaluate punters, right? What do you say? Just kick the damn thing. Try to pin them deep as far as you can. Give me some good, starting off, right? Get 20 and in, 10 and in. Like, I need the best field position possible for the defense. And we got one of the best defenses in the league. So there's that. But yeah, the Bills have a punt god. Now, the next guy I'm going to talk about, I did not do any work on this guy. Okay, so I took I kind of looked at, this is what they wrote from SportsIllustrated.com about this next player, Christian Benford. All right, so now I read the scouting report, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I like the fact that he's a tall corner, physical. I love that. He doesn't have a great long speed. He's not a guy that like Kaiir Elam that can just run. Okay, he has functional athleticism in terms of speed. So I think Brandon Beane said that they're gonna start him off at corner, and then they might put him at safety. Right? Micah Hyde is a guy that started off at corner, ended up as a safety. Okay, so I think he's a perfect candidate to make that switch. I think this is a fantastic value move here. But let's talk about what this is a scouting report, from SportsIllustrated.com. They said high upside, big physical corner with ball hawking skills and lockdown capabilities. Think about that. So high upside. The Bills love, what team doesn't love a guy with high upside? Come on. Big physical corner, ball hawking skills, and lockdown capability. So this is a guy that can get up in your face. He can play press man coverage. All right. He's going to get up in your grill, get physical with you at the line of scrimmage. Going to try to eliminate you from the jump. Great initial jam at the line of scrimmage and is excellent in zone coverage. Come on, man. What do the Bills do so well? Zone coverage. Has exceptional closing speed and ball skills. Uses his size well and hits with the force. So if you could take a cornerback and mold him for the perfect Sean McDermott, Leslie Frazier led defense, this is the kind of guy you want. This is the kind of guy you want. And then when I read this, I was like, oh Lord, y'all better quit playing with me. Quit playing with me. He says, this is a player that put in the right situations can become a star. I about said, what? Now, I'm telling you right now, let's hope that this guy, and you hear about late round corners, safeties coming in and making plays, right? We've seen it before. We've seen it before. Levi Wallace didn't become a star, right? But he was good enough. He was good-ish. I mean, he served his purpose. So if Christian Benford can come in here and I need him to be better than Levi Wallace. Can you do that? I'm not saying that's easy. I think Levi Wallace is a good corner. But we need greatness at cornerback too, right? This is a smart move because we don't know how long, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer are going to be Buffalo Bills beyond this season. We don't know, right? So now you got a guy that you can develop. This is a guy that I think if he goes on the practice squad, he's gone. So you have to, he's going to DeMar Hamlin, Jaquan Johnson. I think you're going to, if his hitting is as good as his scouting report reads, he's going to play special teams. That's a dice that I'm willing to roll. I don't want to see him on the practice squad. I need him to make the 53. If he can develop and he has big time capabilities as a defensive player, I don't want to see you on the practice squad, man. I don't want to see it. He's got to make the roster. So I don't think obviously, how he projects, I don't think he's a starter. But I think, hell, why not try him as special teams? I mean, you can kind of see, with our third round pick, Terrell Bernard, hell, throw him in there. Not at linebacker, but as a matchup safety, right? Big nickel. Why not try him out from time to time? Try him out in camp. See what he could do. But if he can, I'm telling you, man, if he press man, excellent zone, we play zone. He's got really good instincts and ball skills. That translates. I don't care if you play at an Ivy League school, you play a Division 1, 2, 3. Those are the traits that translate to the next level. Now, the knock on him, he did go to Villanova. Like, I know, right? You're like me, like, yo, they got football. How many Villanova players can you name went to the NFL? I can't. Like I said, I had to get that from Sports Illustrated because I didn't think, I can't look up all them players, man. I can't watch that much film. I only got so much time in the day, but I watch enough. All right. My philosophy is, Scouting Academy teaches you, watch at least 3 games. And if you can, watch 5 games of film on a player. That'll give you the story. But I love the fact that he has football character. Like, I just love that. This is why Brandon Beane and these guys excel. They excel with the draft because they get guys with these traits. And anytime you're drafting late, you want a guy with high upside, right? Because sometimes you hit lightning in a bottle. All right. Let's see. Now, here's another. So, John Lombardo says, Howie Long went to Villanova. Okay. Now, a lot of people are like, Howie Long, yes, he played defensive tackle for the Raiders back in the day, right? But outside of him, who you got? There ain't many of them. I'm telling you that right now. So, like I said, I expect him to compete. At this point, I think you have him compete for a cornerback position early because Kaiir Elam is going to start. But can you beat out Dane Jackson? Right? Can he? I mean, the Bills are high on Dane Jackson. But I like corners big physical corners with ball skills. That's what I like in the cornerback position. That's what I found useful. I don't like small cornerbacks. I just don't. I think, man, these quick twitch receivers and these freaking natures like DK Metcalf, you need a dude that can come in there and get in your damn grill. I just like fierceness from a defensive backfield. I love that. So, hey, if he can come in and compete, that's all we ask for. That's all we ask for. Our next guy now, Luke Tenuta. All right, Luke Tenuta. This man, this is like the biggest freaking one of the biggest offensive linemen you're gonna see. All right, so this is a guy that I had a 6th-round grade on him. He's a tackle out of Virginia Tech. This is what I wrote about him. Behemoth in terms of size, as he stands 6'8" and 320 pounds, has versatility along with a real mean streak at the point of attack. He's an underrated athlete for his size and wins in run blocking, but also shows the ability to get to the second level. So he has functional athleticism. Okay, he can get out in space. At the second level to widen rush lanes, could develop into a starter in a perfect situation, but will probably serve as a swing tackle at the next level. So this is again, when you're drafting this slate, you want guys that can come in. You want guys that can come in and have that high upside. I mean, this is, so we're kind of seeing the offensive line kind of take a turn here from the way they look, right? You got Spencer Brown and Tommy Doyle, right? Big men. They're like 6'7", 6'8", right? They like their tackles big and can move. This is another guy that is big and can move. Now, he's not the same athlete, okay? He is not the same athlete as our right tackle, Spencer Brown. He is not in the same vicinity. But this is the cool thing that I want you to listen to. You got Aaron Kromer. Aaron Kromer's track record for developing young offensive talent is through the roof. Think about that. So this is probably an Aaron Kromer pick for sure. Aaron Kromer likes a challenge, right? This dude, I'm telling you, if he can get all the damn talent out of this kid that he has, you don't know what you can get. Now, there's bias in here, obviously, because they're Buffalo Bills, but I think it matters. Where you're drafted matters. Matters big time. Having players around that just want to eat. They love the game of football. I mean, you don't have many divas in the locker room, man. And look at this offensive line, man. He gets to hang out with Deion Dawkins, Mitch Morse, Roger Saffold, Spencer Brown. Like, you don't think that's going to rub off on him? Now, I'm not saying that man's a Pro Bowler, nothing crazy like that. But what I'm saying is take guys with traits. Take guys with high upside late in the draft, and let's roll. Let's see. So what do I think? What is he going to do this season? I think he's a guy that probably be on the practice squad. I think you put him on the practice squad, he's probably not going to really get picked up. Okay. The Bills still need a swing tackle. Tommy Doyle is that guy, but barring any injury, I think he struggles in terms of, bendy, speedy guys off the edge. I mean, he's 6'8", he's going to need to keep that pad level low. I think he struggles with keeping his pad level low, but I think if you can develop him, I think he could be decent. Now, how does he project to the next level? I think he's probably going to end up on the practice squad and a developmental guy. So, and you put him on the practice squad, you can protect him. I think he'll be okay there. So that's Luke Tenuta. Our last guy tonight is Baylon Spector. Okay, Inspector Gadget himself. All right. He just don't have the go gadget arms, man, or the neck. But he's a 2-year starter at Clemson who has good functional to good athleticism. He can go sideline to sideline, but consistency to sniff out the run at or behind the line of scrimmage is a concern. He could thrive in situations with a strong front four to keep him clean and make plays. Instincts are average and needs improvement. Serves as a special teamer and emergency linebacker in dire need. Okay, so this is your special teams Luke Matakevich kind of projection player here. All right. So watching Clemson, he played well at Clemson, not gonna lie, man. He played well. All right. But he's a decent athlete, but I think he hesitates too much. All right. I had a 7th round grade on him. I mean, they got him in the 7th round, so that's value. These are the kind of guys that they pick up because they want to see them on the, undrafted free agent. It's hard for the Bills to recruit players. That's why I felt like they kind of stacked some picks later in the draft so that they can get guys. They get their short guys that they wanted to compete, see what they can do in training camp because, right? Only a handful of these guys are going to actually make the team. So don't be if they start releasing draft picks now. There's guys, our first 4 or 5 picks, the point guard, right? Those 5 guys they're making the team, right? But some of these guys late, like this guy, I think he's a Matakevich replacement. We got some Vince Vaughn here. He says the Buffalo Bills will be a Super Bowl contender now that they have drafted a cornerback in the 1st round, as long as Von Miller still plays in Buffalo. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. If you look at the Vegas odds, they got the Bills as winning the Super Bowl, and they got Josh Allen winning MVP. That's high praise, but you're gonna have to show it. You're gonna have to consistently show it. Yes, we now have 3 6'8" big dudes. Yes, sir. So the Bills are stacked, man. The Bills are stacked. I love the fact that they got these big old dudes. Love it. I love it. I love height, weight, speed, size, freaking nature kind of dudes, man. I love that junk. So we have a few minutes left, so we're gonna open up for questions if you guys have any, but that's the Bills draft class. And so we're going to take now I didn't do too much as far as, undrafted free agents. Now I did make the list for y'all. This is as of yesterday. So Keith Corbin, Jackson State, Kingsley Jonathan, Syracuse, Malik Williams. I mean, these are guys that, these are camp bodies. Raheem Blackshear was a guy running back, a short yardage guy. I think, he could compete with Zach Moss, and Jalen Wydermyer, tight end, he was on the top 30 visit with the Bills. Tight end, I think I didn't expect him to go undrafted. I thought maybe he'd get picked up in the 5th round or so, but he went undrafted. So I think the Bills got, the fact that he came to Buffalo, saw an opportunity to maybe compete for tight end 3, or in case something happens. I love it. I think that's awesome. So be on the look. If any of the undrafted free agents have a shot to the roster, it's Jalen Wydermyer. I love Keith Corbin out of Jackson State. That's Deion's guy. He put together a good season last year. But I don't think he's going to make the team. But yeah, out of all those names, man, I definitely think our tight end Jalen Wydermyer, he has a run. He has a potential or a chance to make the roster. The cool thing about all this is, man, we got to wait till now, until July, August, right? So we can start seeing these guys on the field. So, hit me up on Twitter, Facebook. Well, I'm not on Facebook, but hit me up on social media, man. Let's talk about these guys. All right. We got all freaking off season to chop it up, to talk Bills, to talk about these players and how they're going to fit. As we go along in the offseason, I'll talk about my actual projections of not only the rookies, but we'll talk about when the schedule releases. We're going to talk about big impact players, what we think is going to happen. I'm going to give you all that. So make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to Buffalo Rumblings Podcast Network. Like this video. Hey, go on YouTube. All right. Share it, like it, review. This is going to be on podcast form as well, like I told you earlier. So it's going to be a podcast form as well. But anyway, man, appreciate y'all. And I'm so freaking excited to be here on Rumblings, and opportunities are going to lie ahead for me and for you guys that I get to just talk about the team I love all the freaking time. It's a tremendous feeling. And you know, for a first night, I really do appreciate everybody being here. Go Bills, and I'm out of here. Peace.